Hello, my name is Scuria-Herman. Today's suggestion comes to us from Naked Under My Clothes. He or they left a long comment that I do want to get into eventually. Maybe not in this video, but in a future video. Just because I like the depth of it. But for the sake of brevity and for the sake of staying on topic, if you will, their suggestions were... My Belly is a happy-go-lucky song. I've already listened to Long Legged Larry. My Belly, which I've heard suggested before. A sad song would be Get Out the Car. A proper dark song is Acid King. And then, so looking at this, either trying to find Happy-Go-Lucky again. And I do agree that Long Legged Larry is Happy-Go-Lucky, and that is one of my favorite Aesop Rock songs. We could go back to being sad, Get Out the Car. We can go even darker and try to like more morbid with Acid King. Or we could do a mix of dark and light with this person's last suggestion of Churro. Now, if you've been around on this channel, you know that some of my favorite songs in addition to Long Legged Larry were Daylight, Nightlight, because I really liked how Aesop went about that dichotomy. And combining the dark and light is really interesting to me, and I don't want to keep hopscotching between dark and light with Aesop. I think he's at his best when he combines these together. So let's see what Churro is like.
Oh, happy day, that unmistakable brown plumage as accented by a snow white head and tail. I've seen the Holy Spirit. When I was young, their population had collapsed to where it felt we'd only know the majesty through photo, prose, and lyric. You dressed.
So from what I really shouldn't be pausing this early. From what I saw already, just through looking through YouTube and reading the description of this channel, the instrumentals are by this guy Tobacco, and I could already tell the instrumentals sound very different from normal Aesop Rock instrumentals. That being said, almost every Aesop Rock song is very unique, so that's not really saying much, but this is very new and very strange.
Conservation efforts and the diligence of fish and wildlife scientists, we've actualized impressive data. So much so that 2016 would discover two such creatures nesting in the heart of downtown Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. 200 years of absence broken by a brazen pair is not to shake a stick at when you actually A-B the numbers. And so it was the PA Game Commission would install a webcam with a live feed that would showcase the avian lovers. You could be sitting in your office feeling testy, spilling coffee on a spreadsheet thinking, Jesus Christ, my life is dismal. 2 seconds later, you could stare into a portal that reminds you there is more than what your awful 9 to 5 permits you.
Okay, I'm gonna hold my thoughts until after I read the lyrics. Oh, happy day, that unmistakable brown plumage, as accented by a snow white head and tail. I assume that's referring to an actual churro. And if it is, those are very unique descriptions of a churro. And like sugar, like powdered sugar on top. I've seen the Holy Spirit. When I was young, their population had collapsed to where it felt we'd only know the majesty through photo, prose, and lyric. Through drastic conservation efforts and the diligence of fish and wildlife scientists, we've actualized impressive data, so much so that 2016 will discover 2 such creatures nesting in the heart of downtown Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. 200 years of absence broken by a brazen pair is not to shake a stick at when you actually A-B the numbers. And so it was the PA Game Commission would install a webcam with a live feed that would showcase the avian lovers who could be sitting in your office feeling testy, spilling coffee on a spreadsheet. I think I've heard of this, I forget. But it was like an animal that was thought extinct. Hold on, I'll check Genius, see if Genius knows what this is. Genius very much does not. They have no annotations for the first verse. This is why I don't check Genius. But yeah, I think I've heard of this before. Don't remember much about it. It was 2016, which is almost 10 years ago now. Thinking, Jesus Christ, my life is dismal. 2 seconds later, you could stare into a portal that reminds you there is more than what your awful 9 to 5 permits you. I'm not gonna choose to look too deep into the Jesus Christ My Life is Dismal, just because I think in the past 2 songs I made references to like a Christian industrial complex, and I don't think that there's enough here to make reference to that. And I don't want to say every Aesop Rock song is about that. 2 seconds later, you can stare into a portal that reminds you there is more than what your awful 9 to 5 permits you. So obviously, more to life than what it is, because these 2 extinct animals have returned.
Baby Mona Lisa, cheese and please. Baby sunbeams leaking through a keyhole.
All right. I mean, it says I don't know a lot, but looking at these examples of like Mona Lisa, you know, the Mona Lisa smile in the painting, you know, keyhole perspective, all these things looking at like part of a whole, beauty of life, all of these like grandiose concepts, he's kind of just presenting them here and then leaving them to settle, which is like the repeated I don't knows. It's just like, hey, here's a thing, I don't know. But it's just, I was like, huh, what's the deeper significance of Mona Lisa? And then he just goes, I don't know.
Oh lordy Lou, those unmistakable 8 talents that could surgically remove a spawning salmon from the raging rapids. People think nature is a rainbow or a newborn or an ocean or a puppy, which denies the gory steak and mashers. You load the sight up and expect to see the glory of a wingspan over eaglet beaks emerging from a nigga hero. We overlook the fact that, wow, sometimes a cat'll eat a bird.
Oh Lord Lou, those unmistakable 8 talents. I don't know who Lord Lou is. Time to Google. Lord Lou, a furniture guy, or a Spanish reality star, or a SoundCloud rapper with 3 followers. One of those 3. Let me see what Genius has to say. Oh Lord Lou, those unmistakable 8 talons that could surgically remove a spawning salmon from the raging rapids. I really like how he's describing it, because it's the same thing with earlier, how, where was it? Oh happy day, that unmistakable brown plumage as accented by a snow white head and tail. Obviously now that's very clear to be an eagle, but looking at those, he I think I mentioned this another time, maybe it was the last video or the video before that, or the reaction before that, but just the way he describes things by taking its minor details, presenting them to you in the series, and then you get the full picture because of you've gotten all the details that you need, rather than presenting a full picture and then describing it, which is very interesting, very counterintuitive for prose writing, but lyrically it's very cool. But yeah, my point here was unmistakable 8 talents that could surgically remove a spawning salmon from the raging rapids. Instead of bird goes hunting for fish, it's the bird surgically removes with its talons a salmon that spawns in the water. I just like that construction. People think nature's a rainbow or a newborn or an ocean or a puppy, which denies the gory steak and mashers you load the site up and expect. That's really cool, because it's really, especially going against like the first verse, where he's talking up the, now we've known the eagle, or a pair of eagles, and now he's like, well, nature really isn't that pretty. Nature really isn't that, like, you know, as we keep saying, happy-go-lucky. To see the glory of a wingspan over eagly. Is eagly a word, or did Aesop Rock make that up? If he made it up, then there's fewer than 0.01 occurrences per million words in modern written English, but it is a word. I have to pay to get into a definition, but it is indeed a word. I guess maybe this Aesop song is the 1 in million mentions that they get, or was it 0.01? I already forgot. Anyway, we overlook the fact that, wow, sometimes a cat will eat a bird. That is actually another problem with like stray cat populations directly lead to making several bird populations endangered. I don't know if that's what he's referring to specifically here, but you know.
On April 26th, in front of group of viewers tuning in to catch a glimpse of what would usually live in the shadows, there was no way to have predicted honing in on the internet's favorite creature as reduced to nutritional value. I wonder if some dude was sad because his cat had run away and thought, maybe I'll load these eagles up to feel connected. Then got to watch his little fluffy torn to pieces by the very nature he had sought to ease him through his deep depression.
Wow. Man, every one of these songs, Blood Sandwich, No Regrets, all of these songs, I'm lulled into a false insecurity, and it's like, wow, this gopher is destroyed and ripped apart, and blood is smattered everywhere, or this lady that you've seen grow up since she was a child just dies alone. A cat is killed by one of these giant eagles that we're looking at. On April 26th, in front a grip of viewers tuning in to catch a glimpse of what would usually live in the shadows, there was no way to have predicted honing in on the internet's favorite creature as reduced to nutritional value. When I first heard that, I thought, internet's favorite creature, I guess these eagles got more popular. But no, it became pretty apparent that it's talking about cats, you know? #1 reposted thing on the internet. Haha. I wonder if some dude was sad because his cat had run away and thought, maybe I'll load these eagles up to feel like connected. Then got to watch his little fluffy torn to pieces by the very nature he had sought to ease him through his deep depression. Wow. Well, you weren't wrong about this being dark and light. It definitely started a lot lighter and got a lot darker. What he's trying to say here, the nature of nature, the fact that there is predators, there is all that, and when you try to diminish the fact, like, oh look, the cat is so cute, oh look, the bird is so awesome, you forget the fact that a giant eagle is going to prey on a small cute cat. You're neglecting the natural processes, the, you know, predator and prey, all of that.
Maybe sunbeams leaking through a keyhole.
That was turned off. Alright. I was gonna say, what do people think about this? An homage to classic rap. I just realized how bad of a title that is. What do I know about classic rap? 490 people watched that. Also, why is the preview just me scratching the back of my neck? Man. I would say that, wow, I used to be bad, but no, I'm still there. Does anybody want to see me react to a J. Kill album? I've wanted to watch this, I just haven't had the time. And I don't know if anybody would care about that. Anyway. I don't know. It is an interesting idea because we are far removed from the food chain, or food web, I think is like a new term for it. Because we are like an apex predator, but we also don't hunt really. We've developed a new system of prey. So it's interesting to be directly reminded of the nature of nature. That's probably what I'm going to title this video, The Nature of Nature. Anyway, I'm getting off track. That's all for me. So until next time, adieu.